Hello and welcome to Efficient Strategy Gaming. Today we're going to be doing a HOI4 tier list based on which countries I feel are the best countries to play and are most fun. So let's get into it here. The first country that we're going to go over is Germany. And I'm going to say that Germany is superb. And that's because it's really kind of the driver of World War II. There's a lot of mods that are based on Germany, and they're really good mods like Kaiserreich. And there's just a lot of replayability, a lot of different paths that you can take. Their focus tree um, is pretty well fleshed out by now. So, yeah, Germany is definitely superb. If anyone were to play Hearts of Iron 4 and like it, I would say that they would be playing as Germany. So definitely top tier there. The next country that we're going to go for is Austria. And for whatever reason, I've had a lot of people want me to play Austria. And I have played it a few times. It is fairly challenging. You start off with a very small country and you kind of get run over by Germany if you're not careful. And it is very difficult to play against. You can try attacking south into Italy, but it usually doesn't go too well. Or you could take over Hungary, but not a lot of things to do. I don't believe they have their own focus tree. I think it's still generic. So I'm going to put it down here as C tier. Spain's focus tree was just altered in the La Resistance DLC, and you can go so many different directions and play with so many different factions as Spain now. I like the way it kind of went in the DLC, but it is a little chaotic with basically a revolution happening in the country, and you could go with different factions, and there's all these different mini games and stuff like that. But I didn't really find it like all that fun. Um, but I could see a lot of people finding it fun and interesting. So I'm going to put it as tier B. Spain is also like a big enough country to where it can expand, and you could do like a world conquest situation. So I am going to put it at B. Um, and there is some historical relevance, some historical things that you could do with it. Like it'd be interesting to bring Spain into World War II. That would be interesting, in my opinion. So yeah, Spain is definitely a B list country. Next, we're going to go with Belgium. And Belgium is a little surprising. You do have holdings down in Africa, and you do have certain places to expand, like you can take out the Netherlands and then take over, the Dutch East Indies. You can take out France as well with Belgium. It is more challenging. And then UK is just right across the channel. So you can do certain things with Belgium, and they do have a little bit of an military uh, flavor to them, I would say. So I'm going to put them as B as well. It's just not one of the top tier countries. Like I think you could definitely do a world conquest with them. It would be challenging. Um, it's going to be hard to go up against Germany as Belgium, but you could definitely have fun playing as Belgium. So I'm going to rank it along with Spain. Um, the next country that we're going to go over is the U.S. The U.S. is kind of OP, but kind of boring. You have to kind of just sit back. You're in the Great Depression and you're fixing the economy, and you can do whatever you want with the US. So I'm actually going to put it as a D rank. I'll put it as C because if you're a beginner in Hearts of Iron 4, it would be easier to play the US. So I will rank it as C, but only because there could be some appeal if you have if you really like the US in World War II or something like that, or you're a beginner and just want an easy country to play. The next country is Switzerland, and I feel like it's more like a meme country. Like it would be super hard to expand anywhere except for like Austria and then into Hungary. I believe they still have a generic focus tree. Um, Pretty easy to play a defensive Switzerland. Like you could go into that, but they don't have a lot of resources, not a lot of factories. I'm going to put it as a D list, a D ranking. Not a lot going on with Switzerland. All right, the Soviet Union. Not a very well developed focus tree, but hopefully we get that new focus tree on the new DLC. It has quite a big focus tree, and you can go through the Soviet Union historically and have the Great Purge and have to purge off the officers. I do appreciate that about the Soviet Union. You are huge. You can easily have a world conquest. There is all the flavor if you do it as a historical build going up against Germany. But the Soviet Union is pretty OP, but it is also one of the centerpieces, I feel, of Hearts of Iron 4. And it's definitely deserving of a playthrough. I'm going to put it as A list just because it's so fun to play from a historical standpoint. And there's just a lot of flavor in it. And it would go up to tier S if they update the focus tree. The next country is the UK, and really haven't played a lot as the UK. There is a lot of historical flavor going on. You can take them in a lot of different directions, and if you like navies, there's a lot of replayability. You can do a lot with the navy, and UK also has a lot of territories. Um, so there's a lot that you could do with UK, and you can play pretty historical. So I'm going to put them as an A list as well. Japan, uh, basically the axis of the other side of the world, and there's a lot going on with the conquest in China. Can you cross the Pacific and take out the US? Can you go up against the USSR? They're in a very interesting strategic location in the world, and the way supply works, it's really hard to it's expand. You have to think about how you're going to expand and do it very carefully because there are a lot of low infrastructure areas around them that you have to think about and work with. But in terms of navy, like they have an excellent navy like UK, but they also have excellent planes and a lot of different types of naval vessels going on that are very interesting that you can build out as Japan. You can do bicycle divisions, I think, and then for Japan's army, and then you can do torpedo cruisers, I believe it is, with the Navy. And really, from a historical perspective, 10 out of 10. I really like what they did with all the updates to Japan. So I'm going to put them as an S tier, superb. All right, the next country is going to be very controversial. It is Italy, and the Italian focus tree is very small and succinct, which I like, but a lot of people do not like their focus tree. I would say the focus tree needs to be buffed. What I enjoy about Italy is its place in the world. You're in the middle of everything, and you have to figure out a balance of how you're going to expand without pissing off like the 20 countries that you're around, because you have potential allies and enemies on all sides of you. And even though you can do a world conquest, you have to sequence it in a certain way, or else you're going to have a lot of problems. It also has a formable nation. You can reform the Roman Empire, which has a lot of flavor to it as well, in my opinion. They have a huge navy, although it's not that great. And because the focus tree is so small, you can't buff too many research things with Italy. Um, but because I enjoy playing Italy so much, I'm going to put it as an A-lister. And I know, give me all your comments below about what you think about that. I know that this one's going to be really controversial. I would put it up into S if they made a really good focus tree, but it would have to be a really good focus tree for me to put it up into S. Like a lot of new flavor to that focus tree for me to put it up into the S category. Next country, has its individual focus tree, and it is Mexico. I have yet to play it, but I have watched like Feedback's Gaming's videos on it, and it looks like you could take out the U.S. fairly quickly and expand from there. So you can actually be a pretty good nation as Mexico, but I'm not sure that it has a lot of historical flavor. In my opinion, since they weren't a country that really participated too heavily in World War II, you're playing this because of national pride, or because just because it's fun to play as Mexico. I'm gonna put it more as a B-lister because you can do a lot of things with Mexico, and it would be interesting to play as them. Next country is gonna be Sweden, and Sweden has a lot of tungsten. I don't know. There's not a lot I could say about Sweden. They were kind of neutral in World War II, but remained trading partners with Germany. And there is some things you could do. You could take out Finland, and you could take out Norway fairly easily, and Denmark, and do some expansion there. But you're going to be hindered, and it's going to be difficult to get a complete world conquest. I do not believe they have their own focus tree, and I don't know. For me, it's going to have to be a C list because there's not a lot of flavor there, and it just seems like it's not very interesting to play as them. The next country that we're going to go over is the Netherlands. We're going to skip to the Netherlands, and they have their own focus tree, and they have a lot of events and decisions that they updated to, I believe, with Man the Guns, and I really love playing as the Netherlands. So I'm going to put them as an A list. You do have a lot of resources and manpower if you know how to exploit manpower in Hearts of Iron 4 with the Dutch East Indies, and it is still challenging to do a world conquest. Although you can do a world conquest, absolutely, because you have the Dutch East Indies. So I'm going to put them as an A-lister because they've got a lot going on, and they are right in the middle of everything in World War II. So 100%, they have their own focus tree. Really like playing as the Netherlands. Okay, next country's flag is just vertical instead of horizontal. We're going to go as France. And France is very interesting to play as. You can take them any direction that you want to. The focus tree is massive, and they have a lot of historical flavor. Their military is very interesting to build around because their tank template is awful, but they seem to be oriented towards mobile warfare more. And obviously, you could do a world conquest. They're a major power, and it is going to be hard to go up against Germany. So it is challenging to play until a certain point. If you take out Germany, it's game over. But since you can do so many things with that focus tree, and there's so much replayability as France, I'm gonna actually just put them as B. It would make an A ranking, but I personally don't prefer to play as France. It's kind of like Spain for me, but solid B ranking. I wouldn't rank it any higher than that. If I really like playing as France, I would it would be A 100%. But for me, it's B. I had a lot of fun while I played France, just trying to figure out the focus tree, and I think that's why it's a B ranking, which is up there in my book. All right, next country is Ireland, and I don't know. It's kind of a meme country to play in Hearts of Iron 4. Not a lot that you can do with it. It kind of just reminds me of Switzerland. I think Tommy K has a video on it uh, playing as Ireland, but I don't think that there's an actual like build that you can do from it. It doesn't have a focus tree. Very small nation. I'm not a small nation guy, so I'm gonna delist it. Sorry, I'm Irish. I have an Irish background. I'm obviously American, but um, so yeah, it's sorry, my brethren in Ireland. We're D ranked until they give us our own focus tree. Maybe we can start messing around with the UK somehow, take over Northern Ireland. I don't know, but I don't think there's a focus tree or much historical flavor there. All right, next country is Norway, who is involved in World War II heavily. A little more flavor than Sweden, I would say. But is it fun to play as Norway? I don't know. I've never played as Norway. But trying to imagine playing as Norway, I think you get run over by Germany pretty quickly. And I don't think you have a lot of factories or a lot that you can do with the country or a focus tree of your own. So I'm just going to put it right next to Sweden. So I'm sorry, guys, but you're ranked in the C ranking. All right, next country is Turkey. Turkey just got a focus tree of their own, and they're right in the middle of everything. You border the USSR, you border Bulgaria, um, and Greece. Who else? Border Iraq, and I think French Middle East. Uh, I haven't messed around with their focus tree yet, but it is big. It looks like you can change your government however you want. So without playing it, if I really like playing as Turkey, I think I would put it A list. But since it looks really cool, and since it has its own focus tree, I'm going to put it as a solid B. And if I play it and I like it, I think I'd put it up to A 100%. Okay, next country is Finland. And to me, the Finns are just badass. Uh, they held off the Soviet Union. They were involved in World War II. There was the first war against the Soviet Union, then the continuation war. There's a lot of historical flavor going on here. You can do a lot of different things. You could take over the rest of Scandinavia and go west and come back. Try to go up against the Soviet Union. You're probably in a defensive stance most of the time, but if you played this really savvy, like if you went and took out the Netherlands first, you could have the Dutch East Indies. This is a sneaky tier A for me. And just because of all the historical flavor and the fact that the Finns are so badass in World War II, I'm going to A-list them. Sure, that's going to be very controversial, but the Finns, A-list 100%, can do so much, and you're going to be up against the Soviet Union. Like, that's huge for me, and you're not going to be a puppet of Germany as you're doing it. So definitely A-list the Finns. Okay, next country is Canada. You're bordering the U.S. I'm not quite... Should be able to take out the U.S. and maybe take out Mexico. Sure that they have their own focus tree yet. I'm pretty sure they don't. And correct me if I'm wrong. Anything that I'm saying, I did not go through all these countries and check if they have focus trees, and I've never played as Canada before. But I know Canada is important to MP because they're used a lot as air controller. I'm not sure if that's the current meta. You guys know I'm not an MP guy. I'm an AI guy. I play against the AI, and I have plenty of fun doing that. Um, I'm just gonna put it as a C ranking. It doesn't have its own focus tree, and I don't imagine that it would be very fun playing as Canada. Sorry, guys. Has to be a C ranking. Next country I know a lot about is Bulgaria, and they have their own focus tree, and they have a lot of historical significance. They had a very interesting leader who was trying to play both sides during World War II and do what's best for his country and just be. He was an awesome leader, Boris III. He died unexpectedly. It's a little shady, if you ask me. So there is a lot of flavor in that. It's very hard to get a world conquest. I think I've seen a video or two where someone does it, but it is extremely hard, in my opinion, to do that. But there is a lot of flavor with that new focus tree. You can go all different directions with the government. Um, yeah, I'm gonna definitely A list Bulgaria. I really enjoyed playing it. I have a whole series about it, and yeah, you're just in there, and they did participate in World War II. I really enjoyed playing it. Solid A, solid A. Okay, the next country is going to be Greece. And just to make Stelios, one of my mods, upset, I'm going to put them as a D ranking. I'm just kidding. No. Uh, okay, no, I'm not. No, I am. So, Stelios, I'm going to put Greece as a B ranking. And I'm going to tell you why. It is really hard to change their economy early. It does have its own focus tree. And when you do go, like, say you want to go fascist, you get the weird mustachy guy who has a helmet. Not a good looking guy. I'm sorry. Sorry. Not a good look for Greece. I want them to be more OP. You can do Ottoman Empire build with them. That's good. But I would have liked more historical flavor in terms to make them an A ranking. Their focus tree build for me wasn't as fun as Bulgaria. So I'm going to put them as a B ranking just because they also were sidelined for a lot of the war for World War II, and they were kind of taken out pretty early. So there's not as much historical flavor for me as Greece, but hey, solid B. And they do have their own focus tree now, so that's good for Greece. But sorry, we're gonna put it in the B ranking. I know you're gonna give me a lot of flack for that because I know you want it A list, S list. It just doesn't make the grade. And I think that let me quickly look at this. I think that those are the only countries we're gonna do for this tier list. So please tell me in the comments below what your favorite country is and why. Please consider giving me a like or subscribe if you enjoyed my tier list. And I'll see you on the next one.